Hi.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
So today we'll be going through career sense, multiple access, right? And then
Yeah.
class will be very interactive with questions and then any other discussion that can be held. Do you agree?
Okay.
Okay, sure. So then, before we started the whole show, or before we started the whole discussion, we talked about several means of controlling access on a medium, right?
Yeah.
Mention of pure aloha and then slotted aloha. And then it mention of other techniques. But pure slotted has been discussed already. For the purpose of this lecture, we'll be discussing the CSMA techniques. Techniques we have, right?
Yes.
So for all the medium accesses or control accesses we have, the whole idea is that we want to reduce the probability of our frames crashing or our frames colliding, right? So that is the main goal for us for all random access protocols, right?
Yeah.
So before we delve deep into the CSMA, other techniques that we discussed, the pure aloha and then the slotted aloha, we're looking at three basic things. When we pick the technique or the protocol, we discuss its basic idea. That is how it works. And then we look for certain parameters that defines the efficiency of any of the protocols. So we talk about the vulnerable time. We also talk about the performance, right?
Yeah.
So that same story will apply for the CSMA that we'll discuss today.
Okay.
So now let's pick the CSMA idea. As we have picked the other ideas from the slotted and then the pure aloha, we'll pick the same idea for the CSMA. So unlike the aloha system where we have connecting members just sharing or putting their frames on the medium without any kind of control measure in place, the CSMA actually has a dynamic technique, a more simpler technique. And that technique has to do with the participating members on the link or members who are sharing the same link has to first sense the medium, whether the medium is free or not.
Okay.
The general idea is that when the participating members sense the channel and it's free, what we do is that we put our frames onto the line and we transmit. That is the basic idea for the real sense multiple access. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that is the idea. So if you want to illustrate the whole idea in terms of intuition, you can say like if you are in a class, right? And the whole class will be like, before you can make a contribution to the class, you're supposed to raise your hand. But when you raise your hand and there's no one on the floor, you raise your hand and you speak out. That is the idea, like the intuition. Is that fine? Is the intuition okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So now let's use this diagram to illustrate the CSMA idea. This is a space-time model of the model of a collision in CSMA, right? So for this, so for this, we have 4 participating members, if you can see. 4 members who are sharing the link. That is host A, B, C, and D, right?
Yeah.
All sharing the link. So the idea is that whenever we want to transmit, so assuming A, B, C, D, each of them have packets they want to transmit, right? What we do is if A has something to do or has some frames to put on the packet, frames to put on the line, what A does is that A senses the channel. If it's free, it puts its bits or group of bits onto the line for transmission. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is the basic idea for the whole show. So for any diagram like this, we can use this simple illustration, assuming this diagram is confusing. We can use this simple illustration that we have this line as the channel we are sharing, and we have these hosts. So something like this, like a bus system. That's what you have. This big space diagram this way. for our transmission, where we can have this to be connecting to sharing the link. So for whenever I want to do transmission like this, we are using this to illustrate, assuming this has been redrawn into this. If A wants to transmit onto this medium, what happens is that A senses exactly at this point, right?
Yeah.
Point of connection to the line or to the medium. Senses exactly at this point. And then B also senses exactly at this point, right?
Yeah.
So look at this idea. Whenever A senses at this exact point, and then maybe let's say B senses the channel is free, right? B drops, they start dropping X bits this way onto the line. When A is in this position and it senses the link, what do you think A will feel? Will the channel be busy to A, or will the channel be free to A?
To A, the channel will be free.
Yeah, to A, the channel will be free, right? But ideally, is the channel free? The channel is not free, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
It's not
the channel
free.
is not free, but to A, the channel becomes free. So we will talk about the vulnerabilities of the system, and then we'll see how we solve them, right?
Yeah.
This is just to illustrate the picture.
So again, a question.
Okay, sure.
From what you have drawn, I just want to clarify something. I will mute your place. Feedback is coming. So what I'm saying is that you see that C, when C is transmitting its node onto the line, will the line will it propagate? How will it? Is it going to spread it like the same equal bits? From the first bit to the last bit, will it go left and right? Do you get the picture I'm trying to create?
Yeah, I get a picture. Yeah, so this was just an illustration, right? But ideally, let me pick the pen again. Ideally, this is what we have supposed to have. This connection this way. But I'm trying to illustrate it with a bus topology just to show you how A, B, C, and D are connected to the line. So this is how it's supposed to be from this diagram. So a link like this, and we have connected devices this way. I'm saying that this whole system can be likened to the bus topology like this. You agree? So however the bits are placed on the line, that's your question, right?
Yeah. So because for example, if as we are saying C here, if C is to send data on the line, it has to travel to both in the direction of D and B and A.
From what I do, right?
No, from even the original diagram too.
Okay, sure. From this.
Yes.
Wait, let me pick that. When you are transmitting onto the line, you have a destination, right?
Yeah.
So we are assuming that on the line, we are sending A, B, C, D. Members are communicating to each other on the line.
Yeah.
You understand? So on the same line, we are communicating. So we can just talk about maybe A sending bits or sending frame, to B, right? Or B sending frame to C, or C sending frame to A, or A sending frame, that combination. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what we are assuming. So for C like this, for this diagram here, when we have A here and you still have the C here, right? C has an intended frame for a particular destination, so either A or B, right?
Yeah.
A wants to transmit to B, it puts the frame on the line to B, towards B's direction. If it's towards A, it puts on the channel towards A's direction. Yeah, I agree. You get it? Yeah. So that's the idea. But we'll look at it as we go forward.
Okay.
Okay, sure. So with the illustration we just did, what we have is, so with that, let's use this idea to implement the to discuss the whole CSMA technique of transmitting. We can see that at a particular T1 for this, assuming B wants to send packets onto the line, and then C also has B wants to transmit frame onto the line, and C also has frames it intends to put on the line. So with that, you can see that A senses the line, it's free. Sorry, I mean B. B senses the line, it's free. It puts its packets on the line. And then packets are groups of frames. Frames are groups of bits that are actually moving onto the line. So it puts it on the line, and the bit starts propagating on the line. But at this particular time, T2, C senses the channel again. Because the first bit of B hasn't actually gotten to C at that particular time, T2, C feels the channel is also free, right?
Yeah.
Also starts transmitting. And when it starts transmitting, there's a possible incidence of collision, right?
Yeah.
And when there's collision, it means frames crash, and then we lose them. That is just the basic idea. So after we present the idea, we go to the vulnerable time, right? So let's discuss vulnerable time. Again, we have a link that connects A to B to C and to D, right? When we talk about the vulnerable time, we are referring to a certain time where we can have collision, right, of the frames. Yeah. So look at this diagram. You can see the link connects A to D.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my question is, looking at this and then with the explanation we have, what can we say about the vulnerable time within the whole instance here? What can we say about the vulnerable time? When can we have collision?
So we can have collision only during the period that this has transmitted until it gets to the last host. So if you look at it, it's throughout the
propagation time.
Period. Because until it gets to the last person will not be able to determine if or not the line is free.
Okay, sure. So that is it. So within the whole link and at any particular time, we can have collision, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can have collision. So then the vulnerable time becomes the whole propagation time. The whole propagation time is just the time it takes to move your whole bit onto from the beginning to the end of the link, right?
Yeah.
That is the propagation, the frame propagation time. And that is the one time for the CSMA system. You understand? Yeah. Talk about the efficiency, which has been proved already. And then it states that the efficiency for our system is this: 1/1 + 5 multiplying our propagation time as our transmission time. So with this, because for every system, what we do is that, or for every technique we present, what we do is that we try and make the efficiency a very large value to design a more efficient system. So in this, to make the efficiency a very high value or to make the efficiency a good value, what do you think will happen? What do we need to do to make the efficiency go high?
Then the
denominator should be very, very, very low.
Yeah.
The denominator should be very low.
Yeah.
So in this case, it's either we have our propagation time to be 0, or we have our frame transmission time to also be very large.
Very large.
Very large.
In other case, if you take that part to 0.
Yeah. Okay. So in order to make efficiency very, very high, we just rely on 2 parameters, right?
Yeah.
To make the propagation time very, very small, or the transmission time very, very large, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so let me say this. Whenever the propagation time for this CSMA system, whenever the propagation time is very, very small, right?
Mm-hmm.
It infers that the vulnerable time is also very, very small, true or false?
Yes.
Yeah, it's true.
Because it's proportional.
Proportion.
Yeah, it's proportional. Yeah. So then that brings us to the methods of CSMA we have, right?
Mm.
So let's discuss them. So we'll talk about 3 of them. Now, the question we are throwing to ourselves is, we should sense the channel. When it's ideal, we should do something, right?
Mm.
Sense the channel. When it's busy,
Yeah.
we'll do something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The CSMA presents us with 3 techniques, and that is this persistent technique. That's the first one is the one persistent, the non-persistent, and then the P persistent.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the one persistent. So with this one persistent technique, what we are saying is that the host or the host which are sharing the medium is always sensing the medium. It's not leaving the medium to chance, right? It senses the medium. When it's busy, it still senses. When it's busy, it still senses the medium. It senses until there's a particular ideal time when the channel is not busy, and then immediately it transmits. Or it the line. That's the basic explanation for the one persistent.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So whenever it senses that the channel is ideal, it transmits. When it's and there's collision, it just backs off. That is the whole idea. And then goes back to sensing again. So that's the basic idea for the one persistent. It's illustrated on this diagram.
Mm.
Okay.
Then we go to the second technique, which is the non-persistent. For the non-persistent, what we do is that ideally we are sensing the channel, right? But not continuously. We sense the channel. When a channel is ideal, we transmit, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Second instance, we are sensing, but when we sense, the channel was busy. We don't persist to sense like the one persistent method. This time around, when we're busy, we back off at a random time and then we come back to sense again. Do you agree?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So that has also been illustrated here. You sense when it's busy, you back off, you wait a little, and you come back again to come and sense.
No.
You,
Question no.
yeah.
Do you wait a random time? Because I understand that the back office only when there is a collision.
Okay, yeah. So you wait a random time.
Okay.
So you wait a random time. Back off is actually to get your frames or to get your transmission stopped and come back. You don't do
Yeah.
So you wait for a random time and you sense again for a random time. When you come and you sense and then you feel the channel is ideal, you just transmit. Yeah, that is for the non-persistent.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we have the P persistent. Yeah, okay, let me explain with the right sense. So what we are saying is that the P persistent is just taking the positive side of one persistent, the positive side of the
non-persistent.
Right, to do our work. Okay. So this one also we sense. Okay, let me use the diagram. This one also we sense continuously. We sense. And whenever we find out the line is ideal, right?
Yeah.
We do certain things. First, we generate a certain random number. And then we check if the random number is less than P. That's what we do. And if yes, we can transmit. You understand?
Yeah.
And then
what is the range question?
Yeah.
What is the range of that random number? And what is the P? It was confusing to me.
Which one? The range, the random number?
Yes. What is the range?
So what I'm thinking, I don't know the range, but what I'm thinking is the P is a fixed value, right?
Okay.
It's somewhat a fixed value because
Okay.
you can see that what you're talking about, when I highlight this way, do you see?
Yeah.
What we are talking about is, you see, P persistent method, right? A P, a certain P persistent. There's the P here. So I'm sure, do you get the argument? I'm sure the P is with reference to the kind of persistent method here. So I'm sure it's a fixed value.
The reason I was confused is that this same P persistent method, when I was searching online, they are using a 1 minus P.
A 1 minus
if it's less than if it's less than 1 minus P, then it will transmit. They didn't use generate a random number R, and if it is less than or equal to the P, they were using 1 minus P. So somehow.
Okay. So they didn't generate any number, any random R.
No, the difference it should be that 1 minus P.
So can you explain that? Like how does it work?
Hey, unless I go and check online.
So for the online,
it's the same approach, but just that the R here was not used there, but then it only transmits at a probability of 1 minus P. If that was true, then transmission will happen.
Okay.
So it looks like the P is fixed, like you are saying.
Yeah.
Then only if a certain number is less than 1 minus P, like you can see from here.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, if P is a probability, then the 1 minus the P will be a value less than the P. Then it's possible. Just like maybe we have here that this R is less than the P.
Okay, sure. Okay. So we can continue.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So that's the idea. So it works. And this is the illustration, the graphical illustration, which can be used to explain the writings here. Right. Okay, sure. Okay, so for the CSMA technique that we have mentioned, we mentioned a possibility of still having collision, right? So we have not mentioned any procedure to follow to detect collisions, and we are just saying you just sense and then put something on the line. Just sense and put something on the line, right? Do you see the message you have sent on my screen?
Yeah.
So when you said, I think you did something, so you told us that you have unlimited minutes.
You said you have upgraded it.
Okay. Okay, so let's continue. So now, where do you even get to?
We are starting the CSMA.
Okay, sure. So we mentioned about some sensing method, but we never mentioned about how to fix the collision issues, right? So when there's a crash, something like that, we have crash. So CSMA has an augmented form that actually helps us to handle the collision issues. And then we are supposed to discuss that the CSMA collision detection and the CSMA collision avoidance. Those two handle the CSMA. Yeah. It's the same technique or the same idea, but then implemented differently because of the different media we have. Because we have a wireless medium and we have a wired medium, right? So the CSMA CD, the collision detection, has to do with the wired one, the wired line, a wired system. And then the CSMA CA, the collision avoidance, has to do with the wireless one. So let's tackle the collision detection for the wired system.
Okay.
Or for the wired lines. So as I've said, so the whole idea of this is we sense the channel, something will happen. Assuming there's collision, we'll try to minimize the impact of the collision. Right? Instead of our whole frame crashing, we don't make the whole frame crash. We do something to it, so that we don't have. We try to anticipate collision. So when it happens, we just pull or we back off, something like that. You agree?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So as I've said already, collision detection used in wired LANs, IEEE 802 standards, wire transmission. Okay. So let's see. Oh, sorry. Let's see this. So for any wide medium we have, right? What we have during transmission is on the wired line, we have voltage levels. That is what is used to determine whether there is a packet on the line or there's a frame on the line or not, right? Good. So whenever there is a frame on the line or a normal frame, we have a particular value. Let's say, we are just assuming, let's say plus 5 volts, right? So we can just assume maybe if we have the line and then there's a frame on it, maybe the energy level is maybe plus 5. That's what we have, right? And if the line is ideal, we have nothing on it, we can say, or we have no frame on it, we can say it's on a 0 value, right? So these are the two techniques that will help us determine the collision. What happens is that whenever we have a frame, two frames crashing, that's the collision, right? Whenever we have it, you see that the normal value we have spikes up. So it moves to a higher value, a value which is higher than the 5. So it spikes out to and that is how we detect whether there is collision. Right. So from the diagram, it has been illustrated as such. And it has been described here. When it's 0, we have no frames on the line. For normal, we have a particular value, and therefore these abnormal values, you can sense collision. Right? So that's what we have for the collision detection. Talk about the collision avoidance and why collision detection can't actually work in avoidance. So let's get this. We'll talk about it. So we are back to this diagram again. So with this, what we have here is, now let me bring out this one. Now we have a system that connects A to B and to C and D. Means A, B, C, D are sharing the same link, right? They want to transmit, but this is collision detection. So let's say A has a frame to send, right? And also C has a frame to send. Right? A transmits onto the line at a certain time, T1. So frame, we said, is just a collection of bits. Idea, that's the intuition. So A starts by putting the bits onto the line. So that's what it does. Okay. So look at this. At C, or at a particular time, let's say T2, C has frames it wants to send, right, onto the same channel where A has transmitted its frame onto. So C actually does smell, it senses the channel again. It senses the channel, but at time T2, what do you think will be the information being sent to C as respect to the state of the channel? Will it be ideal to C, or it will be a busy channel? So what we have discussed.
Ideal.
Yeah, so ideal to C, right?
Yeah.
So then what C does is that C moves its frames onto the at this particular time where it senses it's free. That is the normal CSMA. So it has sent, right? But because we are talking about collision detection, what happens is that because we are transmitting, at a particular point, the first bit of A and the first bit of C will crash, right?
Yeah.
When it crashes, assuming we are talking about CSMA, we crash, it means that the whole frame that C has sent is supposed to be crashed. It means, because CSMA, we didn't talk about how to predict any or how to work when there's any collision, right? We just like, that's there we go. But for the detection, what happens is that when the first bits collide at maybe a certain time, T3, when they collide, the first bit only collide, and then C, what C does is C pulls off, it backs off, it pulls all the rest of the bits out, and then B also pulls the rest of its bits also out. Do you agree? It sends a jump signal to the line or to the medium that there has been a collision. So we wait a little. Do you get the picture? That's just a picture. We'll talk about when it backs off, how many minutes or whatever time we should wait. We'll talk about, but just the general picture. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the general picture. So this has been what we illustrated or what we discussed on this screen has been written here. You can read it. That is. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So that's the picture. This information here just illustrates illustrates the idea we talked about. From the slide I left, from this very slide downwards to this illustrates the idea we talk about. Now let's talk in depth to the mass in it or to the real discussion in it, how the real algorithm works, right?
Okay.
So now what we have here is, so we are assuming like the stack, we are assuming the network stack, the whole network stack, like that way. Yeah. So we know that we sense assuming there's a collision. The first bits, so assuming from that diagram, the first bits of A crashes, the first bit of C, and then they back off, right? When they back off, this actually happens. They send jump signals onto the line. So you send a jump signal onto the line. That signal is indicating that there has been a collision. So we wait. After a certain time again, we come back to sense, and then we start transmitting. You get the picture? So we send jump signals that we abort whatever we are transmitting, and we send jump signals onto the line, right? And then we wait for a certain exponential back-off time, this, if you can see. And then the main concern is how to calculate this back-off time. And that's what we have illustrated here. So we have to wait for this particular time. So you wait for a certain k multiplying 512 and then the bits time. That is the formula to calculate your back-off time. So let's discuss the formula. It is of more importance, right? We can find bits time when we have this, right? When we have the link and then we are given the capacity of the link, we can just find the inverse to get our bits time. Yeah, this 512 is a constant. So let's talk about this k, right? So what we are saying is that k is actually a group of numbers that is dependent on the number of collisions that has occurred.
Yeah.
Yes, you get that statement.
Yeah.
So k is a group of numbers that depends on the number of collisions that has occurred. So let's take a normal system, right? Let me see whether the next slide presents any question. I'll come back to it. So this is what we've discussed. Yeah. So okay, this is after second collision. So let's start with the first collision, right? So
Okay.
we told you that k is a group of values that starts from 0 and ends at 2 to the power the number of collisions occurred, right? Minus 1.
Yeah.
That's what we have.
That's
right. Good. So assuming there's a first collision. So for the whole system we hit the system and then there's a first collision. It means m is equal to 1, right? That's the first collision. You get it? I'm trying to how we get a k.
Okay.
Right? So assuming that was the first collision that occurred, we have m to be equal to 1. Right?
Yeah.
K K is a group of values which starts from 0, then ends at 2 to the power 1 minus 1. Right?
Yeah.
So it means K can be selected from a group of value which is made up of 0,
1.
just 1.
Yeah.
So for this instance that we have, we know 512 to be a value, and then we know we can find our base time, right, from the formula.
Yeah.
We just find the inverse of the channel's capacity or the length capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we just use this K value. So for a first collision, whenever there's a first collision, you see that because we have K to be 0, we can say that after the first collision, the system can actually do immediate retransmission again. Do you get it? Because when K is there, when it picks K to be 0, it will make the exponential back-off time to be 0. Do you get it? Do you get what?
Exponential.
No, I'm saying now we know the first collision,
Yeah.
and we know K values from 0 to 1, right?
Yeah.
And I'm saying the back-off time from the formula we calculated is this K 512, which is a constant, right?
Yeah.
Multiplying by a certain base time, right?
Yeah.
What we have. And I'm saying K can be 0 or K is 1. The system picks K to be 0. It means this whole back-off time is just 0.
Yeah.
Yeah. It means immediately we can retransmit.
Yeah.
Or if K is 1, it means we can actually and find the exact time that we have.
Yes.
So we can sense again. So that's the first collision. Assuming there's a second collision, then it means M becomes what, 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it means K can be a set of values from 0 to 2 to the power 2 minus
1.
So this value will give us 3, right? When you calculate
Yeah.
that will be 0, 1, 2, and 3. That is all. That's how you find it. And then you just find the back-off time. Or the time, the exponential back-off time. That is how you find it. Yeah. So sure this brings us to the end of the collision. If you have any question you can ask. Move to the collision avoidance. Any question?
No. They do collision avoidance. We ended here.
Right. Okay, so let's go. So from the beginning of the CSM ACD, we made mention that it works for only wired system, right?
Yeah.
So we have to find, because we have wired systems and we have a wired medium and then we have wireless medium, we have to talk about those stuff for the two of them. We have to talk about how to avoid collision for wireless mediums too, right? Yeah. So CSMACD algorithm doesn't work in wireless LAN for 3 main reasons. Detect collision of node that needs to send and receive at the same time, hidden node problem, and signal fading. These are the 3 reasons. But when we start the illustration for the collision avoidance, we get to understand all these points, right?
Okay.
We get to understand all of them. So you let go. So we are here. So for the collision avoidance, what we are doing is, let's talk about a general wireless system and the possibilities, all possibilities in a wireless system, right? So assuming we have, let me bring the pen. So that's what you are saying. This is in the same way, right? So what we are saying is that look at the system. You can see that A is wireless. They are communicating using the wireless channel. So we can see we can have B here, and we can have C here, right? But what is happening here? A and B are actually, so if it's, let's say, they are in range, we can say they are in the same space, so it means they can communicate. That is how wireless systems work, right? So they are supposed to be in range to be able to have communication. That is wireless system.
Yeah.
So this is what we have. We have A here in the range of B. They can communicate, right?
Okay.
B here also in the range of C. They can also communicate, right?
Yeah.
It's in the wireless medium. But look at this. A and C, they are not in the same range. So impact is we cannot communicate, right? The reason why A and C cannot communicate is as a result of the signal of the signal strength of the medium, of the wireless medium, right?
Yeah.
That's the only way that's the only way wireless system can communicate, when the signal strength is very low. We agree.
Yeah.
So when you have a low signal strength, it means your communication distance in a wireless medium will have to reduce. You have to. Yeah, so that is the general illustration for a wireless system. We are basing the whole argument on the signal strength to be able to communicate. So are you in my range? Can I communicate to you? No, you can't communicate because you are not in my range. Those stuff, but the avoidance or the normal wireless systems work, right?
Okay.
Good. So collision avoidance is trying, you see the whole technique of wireless systems. Collision avoidance is trying to help us avoid collision in a setup like this. So in a system like this, a whole setup like this with all the wireless effects, signal strength, and then signal power, or whatever it is. Collision avoidance is bringing in a technique that will help us solve issues of collision, right?
Yeah.
So when we talk about collision in wireless systems, what we are referring to is the same idea. B is transmitting to A. For example, B is transmitted to A. At the same time, C wants to transmit to B. Because B is busy and then C has transmitted to B, we can say there will be collision. That is the whole idea for wireless systems. Right? When B is busy in a communication and C tries to interfere, that is the whole idea of collision in a wireless system. You get it? Yeah. So collision avoidance is trying to prevent collision in wireless system. So let's see how it does it. Do you agree? Okay. So before that, let's discuss some problems in wireless channel again. The general characteristics of a wireless channel. So let me put the pen back. So we have this, like the illustration we have, I told you. B has a certain signal strength that is in the range of C, this host or this communicating device, and then this communicating device, right? So let's say A is transmitting, let's say, a packet, or a frame to B. Let's say A is transmitting a frame to B. At that instance, you can see that B is busy in communication, right? But what happens is that you see B and C, you see C doesn't know what is happening to B with respect to A, because A is not C.
Yeah.
Whatever transmission or whatever thing is happening between B and A, because C is not in the range of A, it doesn't know. Do you agree to that?
Yeah.
So to B, to C, it sees B as a free system that it can communicate to, right? Is B actually free?
No.
No, B is not free. Why? Because communicating to A. So in that instance, there's collision on whatever packet C transmits. You get it? So that is what we call the hidden node. A is hidden from C and C is hidden from A. That's the idea.
Oh, okay.
Do you get the idea?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have any question on the hidden node problem, you can ask before we get to the next problem. So that's the basic idea. You get it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, thank you. So in that instance, we can go to another problem in the CSMA wireless network, or the general characteristic of a wireless network. So this also, we have this. We have another problem. That's the exposed node problem. Oh, let me do this. Exposed node problem, right? Good. So this the same setup. I told you for a wireless. Hold on, I'm coming. For a wireless channel, what we are dealing with is a signal strength, as I did from I illustrated from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So with this, we can see this. A has its own range of communication. D also has its own range of communication. B and C are in the same range of communication. So now we have a whole setup, right? We want to communicate. Let's say B has, so we are explaining the exposed node problem. B has a frame to send to A, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And B sends its frame to A. Good. Look at this instance. C has something to send, right?
Yeah.
So let's say C also has a frame to send. It hasn't sent yet, but B has sent his yet. B has sent. But look at this. C wants to send something to D, but because C is in the range of B also, you see, it senses that the whole range is busy. Can you see that? Because C knows B is communicating to A, or C knows C is communicating.
Yeah.
Right. So what C does is, because it knows that B is communicating to someone, then it means the channel to C, the channel is busy. So it means C, whatever C has to transmit to D, it will stop. It won't transmit it.
Yeah.
But looking at it critically, do you think the channel is actually busy when C wants to send to D?
No.
The channel is not busy because B outside the range of A. So if C has any packet to transmit, it can transmit successfully without any collision, right?
Yeah.
But because of the exposed node problem, C doesn't transmit to D because the channel is presented to C as a busy channel, so it doesn't transmit. Do you get it? So that is the story. That is the story for the exposed node. If you have any questions, ask.
It's clear.
It's clear, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So then we can continue. So that is the whole technique. That is the whole, while for any wireless system, the problems we can have, the CSMA, the properties, whatever is going on, that's what we can have. So CSMA, collision avoidance, came into the scene to help us with solving those issues. So why don't I bring up something that will help us avoid the collisions, right?
Yeah.
Good. So let's now, the next slides will help us discuss whatever technique or whatever algorithm collision avoidance brought. Do you understand? So let's talk about the collision avoidance. So with collision avoidance, what it does is that we introduce certain control messages. So now we are solving the case. We want to do effective collision in the wireless system with no collision, at least, to help us. So we are CSMA collision avoidance introduces control messages, the request to send and then the clear to send. These are the two ways and two control messages it uses to avoid collision. And trust me, it works well. Understand? So let's see how it works. These requests to send control messages, they are just frames that are very, very small in size, but they are small in size, but they help us accomplish a very big goal. Right? Okay. So, okay. Let's discuss it from this. I thought it was a diagram.
So, question.
Okay, sure.
In CSME, CD, and then CA, we don't talk about vulnerable time.
We don't talk about vulnerable time. Yeah. Not yet. We discussed CSME, the general one, and we made mention of its efficiency, right?
Yes.
And these are So
in the augmented forms, is it still the same propagation time as the vulnerable time?
Yeah, it's supposed to be, because it's just CSME. The upgrades of this the collision avoid is the same CSME, but the collision avoidance and collision detection is helping us just solve the collision issues. That's all.
Okay.
And those two techniques are trying to present CSME in a better way, something like that. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. So let's see how they work. I want to go to the diagram. We'll come back to this slides. They are just information diagram and information slides. So let's talk about this picture. Right. Good. So now let me get my. So now that's what we have. So assuming we have 4 devices again on they are sharing the same medium. It's not a wireless medium. So you put that at the back of your mind, and then we do the discussion. Right?
Okay.
Okay, sure. So what happens is that A wants to send to B. That is A's specific target, right? But there are a lot of other stations on the wireless channel. So what we do here is, because A wants to send, we don't immediately throw whatever you have onto the line. For CSMA CA, collision avoidance, we told we are introducing some small frames for RTS or request and then control.
Request
to send and then clear to send.
Request
to send and clear to send. That are the stuff we are introducing, right? Good.
Yeah.
So whenever A wants to send something to B, its destination, what it does is that it sends a request to send package, a request to send frame onto the line to directly towards B. Do you get it? So that's what we have. Ideally, you send whatever you have, your request to send frame onto the line. When you put it onto the line, it gets to B. Assuming everything is equal, it gets to B, right? When it gets to B and B sees the request to send, what B does is that it also sends a clear to send package or a clear to send frame onto the line. But this time around, that clear to send frame actually is sent onto the line, and it's received by all other stations on the line, including A. So it's sort of an information to tell all connecting members that A wants to send something to me. So you're all supposed to hold on. Do you get the clear to send idea? Good. So whenever that thing happens, when a clear to send is sent to all members on the link, and then it gets to A also. A then the chance to send whatever it has onto the line. Right? And it gets to B. When it happens, this B also sends an acknowledgement to everyone on the line. And then I want to transmit to take off again to do that. Illustration clear?
Yeah.
And SIFS. I know the IFS is the frame space, but the S and the D
and the DIFS.
I know the S to be short. This is short interframe space, but I don't know for the D. We'll have to check. I know the S. S is short, but I don't know for the D.
Okay.
Or is destination interframe sequence? Interframe space.
That's what you're thinking.
That's what I was thinking. But I don't know.
okay. I know the S to be, but I don't know the D.
Okay.
So let's continue.
Yeah.
I have a
Yeah.
question for you.
Okay.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Okay. So with this system, what do you think? Where do you think collision can occur? So for what we, where do you think there can be collision?
Clears the whole medium for it to transmit, so data goes straight to India.
Yeah, so I'm asking you,
there can be a collision.
Yeah.
There can be a collision if two nodes send clear to send. That is assuming C also has sent a request to send to D, and D transmits a clear to send. D also transmits a clear to send. That is when probably there could be a collision.
Okay, so almost there, but that is it. The only time we can have collision is when we are having the transmission of the request to send frame. That's when we can have collision. Do you get it? Yeah. So as you illustrated that,
okay.
As you illustrated that maybe C wants to send to D, the first thing to do is to send your RTS or request, right? When C at the same time that's B, or at the same time that's A does the same thing, or transmission of the RTS occurs at the same time, means there can be collision of the at that particular time, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But not the data.
No, so not the data itself, but our RTS.
Okay.
So do you see how collision avoidance is helping us in this issue?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's helping us. It's just sacrificing
really just
our RTS.
For the data.
Yeah, it's sacrificing RTS for our data. That is all. Yeah. So, with that said, you can compare. So let's go back to this. So for example, something like this. You saw that A wanted to communicate to B. The initial problem we were discussing. A will send the whole frame, bam, to B, and then B will pick it up. Assuming C also wants to send to B, C sees as the channel free, it dumps all the frame and then goes to collision, right?
Yeah.
So assuming we are using collision avoidance to solve this issue, you know, A will send a request to send, and then C also send request to send, and that is the only crash we can have. So assuming A sends request to send, and then B gets it, it doesn't receive from C. That means B can send a clear to send to both A and C. Then now C knows that though it's not in the range of A, C can tell that B is busy, so I can hold on. Right?
Yeah.
And then the transmission goes on. When they are done, they send acknowledgement to everyone that we are done. So then RTS transmission.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is what we have for the collision avoidance. So this one is just the readables. So let's just read it. When a nearby node hears RTS addressed to another node, it inhibits its own transmission for a while, waiting for a clear to respond, a clear to send response, right? So assuming a clear to send response is not heard, then node can begin its data transmission again. So it means whenever we send RTS, assuming we send RTS, maybe A sends RTS back to this. A sends an RTS to B, but then the system has not received CTS, right? Because it's only when B sends CTS, that is when the channel becomes keep quiet and let only A send, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if B hasn't sent the clear to send, it means they wait after some time, they've heard nothing, then they start transmitting their RTSs again. That is what is that's what it's illustrating. And that is all. That is all.
Okay.
Then we have this. Okay, so this is the avoiding collision idea. It allows sender to, in quotes, reserve channel using. It allows user to reserve channel using a small frame rather than the random access where we use the whole data frame. You get it? Yeah. So that's what we've discussed. And that is it all. Avoid data frame collision completely using small reservation frames. That's what we've discussed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is what is implemented in. This is IEEE 802.11 standard wireless connections. So this is what I was saying. The possible collision we can have is this collision of RTO. So that is